Hello everyone, CPAT here with another Exceed commentary. This is actually going to be another post commentary that I'm doing of a match that happened, 2 weeks ago or something? We really kind of fell behind here. But we have a match here between MadFnorder. Is that how you pronounce that? That's actually pretty good if it is. MadFnorder. Should we just call him Mad? This is a guy I've actually never interacted with before. I've never seen him play. But we are going to be looking through his eyes for this one. Thank you to Mad for submitting a video to me for me to do a little bit of a commentary over. I wish I had seen what characters he picked. Okay, Reese, Propeller, and a third. He's got a shiny bag for Reese, so maybe he'll play the Reese Akuma Propeller against Shelby. I believe we have casted a bit of Shelby in the past. I think we casted one of his game, not one of his matches, but one of his games earlier. I think maybe in the Jungies Japes Returns tournament, if you want to check that out. But yeah, this is, like I said before, this is a match that happened a while ago, and I'm just getting around to doing the post commentary now. We are going to be looking through the eyes of MadFnorder in what appears to be like a square resolution. And we just saw the characters that Shelby has. Shelby is bringing the Cammy, the Polar, and the Rachel. The Rachel, I don't remember her last name, but the Rachel from BlazBlue. Is there another? No, I don't. No, I didn't need to make that specification. I believe that's the only Rachel in the cast. I'm just going to take a quick test, make sure that thing's recording, and it is. And yeah, we're going to be looking through this through the eyes, through the square resolution. I wonder if this is like 1024 by, what is it, like 1280 by 1024? Actually, it just looks like a perfect square to me. We've got uneven black bars, but that's just how we roll today. And yeah, we've got a week 1 match between MadFnorder and Shelby. Again, Mad, I apologize if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly or I'm misreading it. So yeah, interested to see this because, like I said, Mad is a player who was like, I guess I consider to be part of the old guard. As in, I've not seen this guy play ever. And I didn't really know of him. I heard he was good. I feel like I heard he was good. But I have no idea what he plays like. No, we know what the characters he brought. Shelby, I have seen a little bit. I don't know if I myself have played him in casuals, but I've seen him play casuals a little bit. Like I said, I did cast a game of him earlier. Looks like Mad's going with the Reese. Let's see who Shelby's bringing to the table. Shelby's bringing the Cammy. Okay, interesting. So like I said before in the last video, I believe it's uploaded right now. It's the video between Benzema and Zane. Reese is the season 1 character that I've played, so I have some cursory knowledge of like his cards, and plus a little bit behind the scenes. I'm doing this commentary right after I did the first Reese commentary of Benzema's Reese. So in theory, I should remember the card names and all that. I do remember the shapes. Like Reese has like a slow dive. He has a Tatsu. He is like a 1 damage DP. He has like that really weird 1 to 2 6. Oh, Matt's actually zooming in on the cards for us now. Perfect, nice. He's got the Reese for some reason. Reese has the reverse King Knight boost. And yeah, up against Cammy. Cammy's an interesting character. I think a lot of people definitely. Oh wow, Matt's just doing our job for us. What a nice guy. That card looks pretty useless, but the boost seems pretty good on it. Then the DP, of course, the DP that gets you advantage as well. Let's see if so last Reese we saw Cammy will take first, and Mad will take second. Oh, this is gonna be weird. We can look at his hand and see what decisions he makes. So let's actually see how Mad mulligans this. I guess this is going to be a little bit of a selfish commentary because we know what one player is doing at all times. I've done Yomi commentary like this before, but I've never done Exceed commentary like this. This looks like he mulligans away that card that I didn't pay attention to because I was too busy talking. Yeah, we've seen backside Reese already, so frontside Reese can spend a gauge to gain advantage if he stuns the opponent. This looks like Mad just mulligans one. I did not see how many Shelby mulligans. I actually don't think he's mulliganed yet, if anything. Looks like Shelby, yep, Shelby opts to mulligan one. Technically, Shelby should be mulliganing first, and then Mad should be mulliganing second, but I don't think it matters too much. Cammy's a weird character. Cammy's like a really, I guess, yeah, she's kind of a weird character. Whenever she advances past the opponent, her attack hits, which is pretty interesting. She's got like a grasp like, and then she's got like a bunch of dive shapes. One ignores guard, one's really slow. One has like a range 1 auto dodge at the end of it. Being assault, it looks like Mad is striking. I wish I knew what Mad was striking with. But yeah, the things that hit here. Oh wow, Mad's just doing commentary for us. The things that hit here are Ballista and Chivalry. So Ballista is kind of like a fast fireball at speed 5, and Chivalry is a Tatsu shape at speed 4 with guard. So options that Cammy can throw. Cammy can throw basically a lot of things. She can throw like Razor's Edge. Razor's Edge is not good here because Razor's Edge does have like the auto dodge on it. So, but you need critical for that. Cammy can throw like any number of dive shapes back in response, or of course can just play as slow. Looks like Shelby's thinking, considering about wild swinging. He did prep turn 1, but maybe he's thinking, I don't want to play the mix up. Let me just wild swing. He's mousing over that wild swing. Quite frantically, if anything. Nope, just decides to play dive kick. Okay. This is a funny interaction. So Mad went for the slow slow dive, and Cammy opted for the dive kick, which counters the slow dive perfectly because of course is Cammy's card just called dive kick? I believe it is, yeah. But dive kick has the property that attacks at range 1 do not hit you after. So yeah, that Gallant Defender, I believe. The slow dive from Reese will miss. And back to Cammy. We are now at range 1. Range 1 is really good for Cammy when she has meter, because she can do CQC stuff with that. A little bit rough with no gauge though. She does have the push 3 cannon spike to dodge any slows, but Mad, we can see, has the focus queued up in response. Nope, Shelby just looks like he's going to boost power on that. Mad with a hand of 1 to 7, probably just kind of prep. Yeah, goes for the prep. Draws the Night Wave, which is kind of a cool like repositioning tool, but doesn't really have like a tool to do it with. I think. I guess Reese does also have like a CQC of his own. He has Checkmate, which is slower than CQC, but it's the same premise. Attacks at range 1 do not hit you. Interestingly enough. So yeah, Cammy going to opt for a strike here. Basically, we're going to try to read if this is like a grasp, or not a grasp, but the DP, whatever it's called. In theory, could be like a dive shape, because dives do hit to threaten the slow. Could be cross. Mad briefly going for that grasp there. Focus is the safe answer, because generally, even if you're not gonna, even if you lose the strike, you're not gonna lose as hard. Just a focus and no sweep. So 4 for 4, pretty. Oh wait, oh no, there's a power boost on it. I completely forgot about the power boost. The focus gets stunned. Matt takes 6. Oh no, that is no good. I completely forgot about the +2 power. But yeah, looks like Mad was reading the whatchamacallit, the cannon spike. But unfortunately, no, Shelby outread him there, goes for the sweep. Matt immediately initiates with grasp, interestingly enough. Maybe trying to take a bet that Shelby doesn't have a second slow. The Shelby does have an incredibly safe answer at all ranges with critical spiral arrow, which gets 1 armor 4 defenses, or 1 armor 3 guard 4 total defenses, which it's just such a solid special. It's basically always going to hit and deal 5. I don't know if Shelby's going to be willing to be spending that tool so early. I wonder if Shelby sees that focus down and will go for the DP in response, and that's why Matt's playing the grasp here. A little bit of Yomi action going on here. Is he actually going for the wild swing? No. He pulls the card, pulls out the second sweep. Oh no, Matt can't be happy about that. Eating 2 sweeps. Grasp will do 3, but that sweep will do 6 back. And Matt suddenly finds himself half HP without too many cards. Shelby pulls the checkmate. which I'm not sure is bad now, but hey. And Mad, furthermore, stuck in hand on Shelby's turn with EX Nightwave, which misses in a block. So Mad will definitely be needing to do some preparing in the future. Shelby reveals an EX attack. You just have to block and hope this is not Spike if you're Mad, I think. You just have to block and hope it's not Spike. Nope, it's the EX Assault, dealing 5 damage to the block. Matt will probably spend 1 force here and opt to take the 1 damage. Yep, chooses to spend the Nightwave from hand. Probably just needs to prepare here because this hand isn't... Oh, wait, no, it's Shelby's turn, of course. Yeah, Matt just has to wild... Oh, a critical. So this is probably like critical Spiral Arrow is the read, but it could also be a critical cannonball, like a cheek cannonball. Ignores guard, excuse me. But Spiral Arrow is kind of the main threat here. That's the quote unquote good card that Cammy will just play, because it will power through fast and just out range slows. And yeah, it is the Spiral Arrow. Cross will go first, hit for 2, and that Spiral Arrow, don't worry, Cammy's coming. She can't. It's incredibly difficult to dodge that. So Cammy will take 5. Reese at least gets to Exceed. Doesn't really have the best hand for it, although Cammy will have to probably spend a turn prepping here. Unless, of course, I think Cammy strikes if her last card in hand is the DP, actually. Just seeing the hand, but I think it's a little bit too risky. Yeah, Shelby prepares, Mad prepares in turn. Doesn't really have the best looking hand. Shelby prepares one more time. I wouldn't be surprised to see Mad either boost Defend here just to threaten something, although he doesn't really have a good card to threaten with Defend, or he can boost the Gauntlet Fury, which is a bit of a reload and a strike. And yeah, he's going to opt for that, so you will draw 3 cards and strike. Little baby Hazama thing. Not the best looking hand to strike with, admittedly. You could strike with something like the Gallant Defender to try to chase down a Cammy. Looks like he's opting for that 1-2-6, which is... I don't know, I just feel like it's going to get DP'd here, you know? I just have a feeling it's going to... If that... Shelby's going to look at Mad's discard, see a bunch of slows are down, and then he's going to opt for the DP in response. Also sees a Grasp is down, sees one of the DPs down. And yeah, there's the... we called it right there. Yeah, there's the Cannon Spike, beats out the Night Wave. Cammy will push Reese away and deal 2 damage. Not looking great so far for poor Reese here. Let's see if Mad can bring it back. He does have the Fast Fireball in hand, and he also has the Slow Dive in hand. So he does have options at range 4 at the very least. But Cammy's looking pretty hot right now, and Cammy's sitting at range 4 now has options unlocked, you know, with a crit strike here. And yeah, looks like Shelby is gonna opt for that. This is like a huge mix-up. Could be like 4 different things. I'm assuming Cammy's probably gonna try to be moving. Actually, I think everything Cammy throws is moving in, so that's a dumb statement to make. The only thing is whether Reese wants to call out with a Ballista. He chooses not to. And he gets cannonballed. At least the block comes out. Unfortunately, Reese will have to spend 2 gauge on this. Or 2 force, excuse me. He does so with the Ultra. Because cannonball ignores guard, obviously. But, yeah, Shelby just puts Reese in the corner. Gains advantage with cannonball. Opts to prep. This hand is not looking great. Reese probably has to prep again. Yes, there it is. Finally, there's something there. There's a light boost there. There's a +2 power boost there as well. I don't see Cammy. Unfortunately, Cammy's probably not going to exceed this game. I wouldn't be surprised to see Cammy prep again. Yeah, there is the prep. I wish I called those like 5 seconds earlier, but you know, sometimes we get distracted. Mad may be thinking about boosting the Ballista to retreat 2 spaces and then have before close 2 on his attack. That's not a bad boost. Unfortunately, I mean, he does have like Assault and Slow Dive to threaten, but yeah. Going to be boosting that. So he has before close 2. Before close 2 is a really great boost, except for the fact that Cammy does get to react afterward. So Cammy can do something just like boost Cross and just like try to attempt to negate that. Mad has drawn a dive though, so in theory, like if Cammy boosts Cross, Mad can strike with dive, dive over, and then close 2 and actually have that dive hit. I expect Cammy to boost Cross here or something like that. No, Shelby actually thinking about striking here. Could strike with, actually I have no idea what he could strike with, just because crit Razor's Edge is really not going to do it. I feel like a Cannonball's not coming out in this scenario. Could just strike with crit spiral arrow again. Crit spiral arrow just like if Shelby has crit spiral arrow, just wins so many combats. And trading here is totally fine when you're up 15 HP. So an option like that is definitely not out of the question there. Shelby does have a full hand. I feel like if he had crossed, he would have just boosted cross right away. So maybe no cross in hand. Yeah, this kind of commentary is actually quite interesting, seeing what decisions Mad is making, and then like trying to predict what the opponent's trying to do. It's very interesting. I hope you enjoy this different style of commentary. I only have a couple. I have one more video coming up with Mix's POV, so that should actually be quite interesting. Just because we know Mix is like a very known quantity, so it'll be interesting to see how he plays. Mad, we've heard of Mad, but we've never actually seen him play before. But Mix we have more familiarity with. But I hope you enjoy this style of commentary. I'm certainly very interested in seeing like what kind of plays these players make and like the reasons why. Maybe looking for discrepancies, maybe a little bit more read based. Okay, so Cammy boosts high jump, but opts to move to range 7 instead. Not a lot of stuff from Reese hits. I believe only Ballista hits. And I don't even know the ability on Ballista, so like it's quite possible that Ballista is just like a garbage card. I know it has 0 printed power, but I feel like there's more to it. Looks like Mad will spend 2 force to move to range 5. So now we have the because he is the before close 2, we have the classic range 3 mix up of assault, dive, spike. Did Cammy just CC1? Can we just CC a change cards a dive and go 1? I mean, okay. I mean, Mad has an option here between assault, dive, spike. I assume he's gonna be striking. Oh no, he teched. I'm an idiot. He teched the boost. Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry, I have Seinfeld going on in the background. I'm not really paying the most attention. So yeah, Reese now unfortunately has to spend force to move in. Spends the spike and the Gaunt Defender to do so. It's like, why would he change cards 1 to dive? Huh. Been playing too much Season 6 as well. As Cammy boost crosses over to range 1. CQC, a big threat now with 4 gauge. Matt does have the answer with a dive, in theory. Something like cross would also work. So you basically just need to get out of range 1. You won't be hitting at range 1, obviously. I don't believe Reese has any ways to hit from range 1 when he's already staying in range 1. He does have checkmate, but with only 1 gauge, that is not an appropriate answer. I wonder if Shelby is just willing to swing with CQC here, or maybe he's thinking about throwing out a bait. Just because you're threatening, this is a Yomi principle, same thing works than Exceed. Just because you're threatening an option doesn't mean you have to play it right away. Sometimes it's better to just hold that option over your opponent's head and make them play around it for multiple strikes. So I wonder if Shelby will be doing that. Of course, some percentage of the time you do want to be just swinging with that threat the first time you see it. Both options are in the Nash, and you should be doing them some percentage of the time. There's no 100% play that you should be making here. It's definitely a mix of options with certain percentages attached to them. But yeah, Shelby looking at the discard, maybe thinking of a reading play. That'd be pretty sweet. I believe Mad has. Does Mad have 2 assaults left? That would be. No, it just looks like a parry coming up. Parry's the checkmate, interestingly enough. I wonder what the boost. I forget what the boost on checkmate is. Hopefully I have the Reese cards up. I actually don't. Mad will strike. Second DP beats the cross. Yeah. I mean, Cammy with the DPs, you just need focus, right? No focus available. Reese tries for an undercurve cross and gets called out again. This is the second time that the Speed 6 has been called out by the DP from Cammy. It's not even a DP, by the... I don't know what you call it, a grasp like? I don't know what you... I don't know what you would call it. I don't know what you call those shapes, like the 1-2-7 push 3. It's like a super grasp, I guess. I don't know. If you have a term for that, let me know, because I actually don't think I do. But yeah, a little bit of an unfortunate strike there. Cammy now back at range 4. So the range 4 mix-up is alive and well. Mad, Mad doing the infinity sign with his mouse here. I wonder what that means. Or it looks like maybe he's like conducting a maestro of his cards. Yeah, pretty rough spot for a Reese here. Just super rough. Cammy now has 5 gauge as well, so even the threat, you could even throw out the threat of a gyro drive into CQC if you're feeling saucy like that. Which would be pretty funny actually. Although gyro drive actually gets minimum value here, funnily enough. No, Cammy opting for strike, no crit though, so no crit telegraphs a couple things. Like it's probably not cannonball, still could be spiral arrow. Because like EX dive is down. I believe both ballistas down from Reese as well. But does remove some options. I wonder if Matt's gonna go for the assault here just to try to. Actually, assault doesn't even work because it's Cammy, right? So Cammy, when she passes the opponent, she'll hit anyway. So assault doesn't really work in this scenario. Wonder if it just goes to the sweep, but trading is tough. It's a bait. Cammy moves back to range 7. Well, that gyro drive is a threat, so Reese has to move in. Spends 3 force moving to range 4, threatening like a dive gallant situation. But I mean, 2 cards in hand, 6 in deck. We haven't actually like card counted here. I think Shelby has those, so you should know what threats are left. I believe maybe there's 1 dive left and no gallants, 1 ballista. No idea. I wish I knew. But no, Cammy looks like she's gonna be spending gauge to move in, perhaps. Maybe, I mean, she can afford to spend 2 gauge and a force from hand just to move to range 1, threaten that CQC again. And it's just like, well, what is Reese gonna do? She could just also prep, claim, okay, Reese boosting that fierce, telegraphing the card. This seems fine here. Obviously, Shelby doesn't know that he doesn't have the option, but it seems like an okay play. You kind of need to be taking risks here when your life totals are 25 to 8. Matt, take a look at the discard here. Maybe Shelby will strike into the fierce boost. That'd be interesting. Yeah, and he does. Officer critical as well. Spiral arrow. Yep, spiral arrow. The assault will go first, move in, and then Cammy will move across. Of course, she'll hit because it's Cammy. Cammy will find her way to range 3. Spiral arrow will do 5. Spiral arrow into the power boost was interesting though, because spiral arrow could have, or I guess it was oh wow, EX chivalry. That was an option we didn't even. I guess yeah, you're right. We haven't even seen chivalry yet. So Mad now threatening the chivalry dive mix up, I guess. What's that? I wonder what that last card is. Yeah, chivalry, just an option that Matt didn't get. I mean, that's the nature of Exceed, right? Sometimes you bottom deck a card, and chivalry, EX chivalry especially, seems like a decent option against Cammy. It just feels like it catches a lot of random things and allows you to trade better. Granted, Reese is losing 25 to 3, so I'm not sure trading was the correct answer, but Cammy just opts for block here. I believe both spikes are down. Block will dive. Reese will dive over. Cammy looks like she'll take the 1, spend a gauge for it. Now in CQC, that last card is Ballista. And yeah, I mean, Mad stays alive because of the armor. Cammy should know the last card is Ballista, moving to range 3. Even though Ballista's the last card, fine. Or actually, no, because Chivalry, of course, advances too. So yeah, Mad now finds himself at range 1. Has to reshuffle and find something good. Finds a spike. So yeah, it will have to be a wild swing, hopefully for a block against a second grasp or something, or CQC. And Chivalry will work. So Chivalry will cross over, and will in fact hit the CQC and stun it out, as Shelby's forced to spend 3 gauge for it. So yeah, good wild swing there, and now Mad just swinging for the fences here. Does have the spike. This could be a comeback in theory. This spike, I just feel like Cammy's playing a slow here. Unless she has a cross in hand. No, the wild swing spike beats out the focus. Mad making a little bit of a comeback here. Cammy's stunned, so Reese gets advantage. Checkmate will not. Will checkmate. Wait, checkmate won't. Yeah, checkmate won't work here. Razor's Edge will put Cammy at like range 3 or something. So checkmate will not work, and the Gallant Defender will pop the Razor's Edge. Will deal 2 damage to it. Will stun out Cammy, and wow. Oh yeah, Reese will do 4 damage because of the +2 power on Reese UA, and Matt just says, "You know what? We're rolling the lottery." Oh no, second CQC will win, but it was a good effort, I think. As the cards just fall off the table, Reese had a series of very funny wild swings / top decks that made this game look very close. If you remember, the health totals were 3-25. But Reese with the heart of the cards couldn't pull out the answer to second CQC, unfortunately. And Cammy will take game 1 in a game that looked super convincing for Cammy early, but one more correct wild swing with a +2 power on it would have meant that Cammy was dead. Like if Reese had randomly wild swung second Chivalry, Cammy was dead, right? Cammy kind of had a dead hand too with the X gyro drive as well. But no, a little bit too close for comfort. But Cammy does end up taking game 1. For some reason, Matt takes his references and shuffles them into his deck, into his Reese deck, implying that he's not going to be playing Reese for this next round. Because why would you do that? Unless it's like a super 10,000 IQ mind trick of, hey, I'm gonna ruin my Reese deck and then play Reese again. Shelby, of course, per the rules, cannot play Cammy anymore. I believe he has Polar Knight and Rachel, what's her face, as the second character. Mad takes that Reese, throws it out in disgust. Probably just spawn a new one because he's ruined his old deck. Will he play Reese again? Oh, it looks like he is gonna pull out the Reese again. So Reese round 2 against Rachel. We can actually maybe zoom in on Rachel and see what her last name is. I don't remember. So this is actually an interesting matchup just because it's season 1 versus season 5, and Alucard. Okay, it's season 1 versus season 5, and this doesn't happen very often. Just because, I mean, it doesn't happen in tournament at all because these 2 seasons have never been legal at the same time. But yeah, I have no idea what to expect because I mean we've seen Reese. Reese does have a couple of ranged options in the Ballista and the Slow Dive, the Gallant Defender, I think is the name of it. Rachel, bit of a zoner, bit of a keep away character, I'd say. But she can also brawl. Like she has cards like Electric Chair, with 7 guard. She has the ability to basically move and take another action. That's her UA. So with resources, she does have a card like Spike Drop. She has a Whirl Shape. She, of course, has her 2 Fireballs. Are they fire? Yeah, I guess they're Fireballs in Flying and Tiny. And she's an Ultra that works at range as well. So yeah, should be an interesting matchup. Reese probably wants to be a little bit closer to Rachel than Rachel wants Reese. So seeing that turn 1 cross, maybe Matt's thinking about boosting that turn 1, just sit at range 1 instead. Could be a possible play for Reese. Let's see what happens. Shelby will be going second, of course. He's still doing his mulligan, I believe. Yep. Ops to mulligan 1, ops to mulligan 2. Mulligan 2, interesting. I've never seen good Rachel gameplay, so I'm actually interested to watch this match, because Rachel's one of those characters that I don't actually think I've ever played Rachel before, and if I have not won with Rachel before. Yeah, Mad looks like he's thinking about boosting cross. Yep, just as we called it, boost to range 1. He doesn't want to get outzoned by the flying Lobelia at turn 1. Makes complete sense to me. Doesn't have the best looking hand, but I mean, hey, you have a focus there, you have a DP there, it's good. You have EX DP, interestingly enough. You have a Tatsu as well, which like randomly will work, catch certain things. Like, I don't imagine Rachel will strike with cross here, but if she does, that cross catcher at range 1, we saw it in the last match, between Banzema and Zane. Chivalry, of course, is a cross catcher at range 1. And it mattered in that match, so maybe we'll see something similar here. Who's to say? Shall be thinking a lot about this turn. Interestingly enough, it is only turn 1, but maybe he didn't expect the cross turn 1 and has not shaped his hand around Reese hopping into range 1 so quickly. Nope. Opts to boost Ivy Blossom. So if Reese ends his turn at that space, Ivy Blossom will deal 1 chip damage, and yeah, will sustain self as well. So yeah, Reese boosts, was it Revolver Action? I forget what it's called on Season 1. I think it's called Revolver Action on Season 5. Noelle maybe has it. Draw 3 cards and strike. Looking at his hand, I don't think he's going to go for a cheeky Night Wave. He doesn't really have any. He might go for the Night Wave, and here's why. It is a movement option that gets him off the Ivy Blossom. That said, he also does have the Tatsu shape in Chivalry, which will move him as well. Looks like he's opting for the Gallant Defender, maybe trying to catch a cross or something, like that. I mean, it's just a counter hit move. So hopefully Rachel doesn't play focus. That would be terrible. But it'll basically counter everything else that Rachel will throw at this range, I believe, except sweep, because Gallant Defender only has 5. So yeah, sweep or focus would be absolutely disastrous for Rachel to throw against Reese here. That's a Gallant Defender at range 1, not the best option against those slows. But yeah, let's see how Shelby responds to the range 1 Gallant Defender here. He's actually thinking quite long about this particular strike. Odds for the focus, so yeah, that Gallant Defender will go first, hit for 0, and the focus will hit back for 5. So yeah, not the best looking card there. That Ivy Blossom, furthermore, will sustain itself. Rachel will draw a card. Force is pretty important to Rachel as a character, just because to really use her UA shenanigans, you need a lot of force. So drawing cards is always great for Rachel. Not the best start for Reese. Does build up a gauge though, so he's building towards that exceed mode, which can be pretty threatening, as we saw in that last game. Basically, combined with the Wild Swings, brought that game, which was heavily dominated by Cammy for 85% of the match, to something that was quite close. Anyway, back to Shelby. Full hand again. Surely it's a strike or a boost. Interesting, boosting speed at range 1. But if Matt just opts to prep, he will get advantage as well. Speed at range 1's an interesting one. Normally, you don't see speed at range 1, but it is only a +1 speed. Maybe he's doing it for the advantage instead. Expecting that Mad won't strike again, especially because he did strike with a Gallant Defender, which is like not the best range 1 option. Maybe, I don't know. Actually, it just loses to slows really badly, right? It loses to sweep, it loses to focus, loses to sweep terribly, and loses to focus as well. Looks like Rachel will be boosting, so we'll be using her UA to spend 1 force and move to range 2, and then boosting power as well. So now there's a little bit of a threat here with +2 power, +1 speed. Quickly negated, though, by the sweep boost. Assuming no tech in hand, because that tech comes out 99% of the time. I feel like just as a knee-jerk response almost to the sweep. So no tech in Shelby's hand. Looking at the options that we are threatening here, or that Matt is threatening here, excuse me, it just looks like the he has a DP, he has an assault to outspeed things at speed 7. Although, reminder, the assault will lose to Shelby's speed 6s, of which he has cross and he has whirlwind, I believe it's called. The whirl shape. I think it's called whirlwind. Yeah, could also go for like a cheeky 6 speed, 7 power spike drop. 7 power because spike drop has a before you can discard a continuous boost for +2 power, I believe. Also ignores armor, but Matt does have the appropriate response to that and does have like quite a full hand. So I feel like that's a little bit of a risk to go for. Matt can also threaten something like an on-curve chivalry as well. Though I don't think he'll go for that over the assault. Actually, maybe chivalry is actually not so bad here. It does put you in the corner, however, but it does get you off the Ivy Blossom. But as is assault, so I feel like if Matt's going to respond here, it's probably going to be with an assault. Just given the shape of his hand. DP is a little bit of an overkill. At speed 9. I don't think anything changes between speed 7 and speed 9 unless Shelby's playing an EX attack. Okay, so Shelby opts to move 1 and then run to the other side of the screen here. So Matt does have an opportunity to go for the range 3 mix-up here of Assault Dive Spike. Obviously he only has the Assault and the Tatsu shape in his hand. Also has Ballista. Oh, Ballista is a before +1 power for each card in your gauge. Okay, interesting. And also closes afterward. Didn't actually know that. Don't think we actually zoomed in on that card to see it. We saw Banazama use it for the boosts for the most part. We are going to see Reese boost bracing. So +1 armor, +1 guard for every turn, for basically every end of turn that happens. Interesting boost. Kind of forcing Reese, kind of like attempting to force Rachel's hand to strike here. I wonder if Rachel will take the bait here and strike. The only thing is Rachel can, in theory, like Rachel can step back and play something like the Tiny Lobelia. Nope, opts to step forward and strike, probably threatening something like a second cross here, if I had to guess. It's the spike drop. Fortunately, Gallant Defender is a speed 1 billion, and that will pop the spike drop. We'll get out of the way of the trap boost there, or not. It's not a trap boost yet. The future trap boost will deal only 1 damage, of course, but beats out the spike drop, which was a 7 damage threat. Reese now finds himself at range 1. Has a focus and a grasp to strike with. Does have a cheeky assault and a cheeky night wave as well. Don't think he'll be going for those. Interestingly enough, just attempts to strike with a focus. Focus and a focus, 2 damage each, but Reese does get his 3rd gauge in. So that's probably the reason Mad wanted to strike there. Both players get a card. Reese will surely be exceeding this next turn. I don't think he's going to be attempting to threaten the Ultra. Was it Checkmate? Or the other one, the 1 to 3 5 speeder that draws you cards. I think Mad will be trying to go for that early exceed. Rachel steps back and strikes. The classic range 3 mix-up, although Flying Lobelia also a thing. Matt just opts to wild swing it. Dive will lose to the Flying Lobelia. Rachel does have to spend a force, though, so this is quite an expensive strike, dropping an Ultra and an additional card for that Flying Lobelia. Reese does move to range 4, but Reese does have ways to get back in, obviously with the Tatsu shape and the slow dive shape, and does have a speed 5 to contest here as well, although Reese will be exceeding this turn most likely. Despite finding himself at range 4, I still think exceeding here seems fine. Especially just because there's no, if we're looking at the hand, there's no run. I feel like if run was a thing, then maybe he'd run this turn and then exceed next turn, but not the case. Flying Lobelia, of course, says that the top card will be placed as a lightning rod. That top card is actually a tiny Lobelia, so you might see some Lobelia loops coming up here. We thank you, Mad, for zooming in on that. Basically, those lightning rods deal 2 non-lethal damage. So let's see if Reese opts to exceed here or do something else. Does have a little bit of a threat here with that lightning rod underneath him, so in theory Rachel could strike again. No, opts to strike instead. Strikes with the ballista, and that Baden Lily will call out the. Wait, is it ballista? That's Yeah, okay, it is ballista. Yeah, the Baden Lily at speed 6 will call out the speed 5 ballista, which was a little. So the thing about Baden Lily is that it does 6 power, right? So it beats out the Gallant Defender, beats out the ballista on speed. Just felt like that whole strike, which is maybe Matt just forgot about that card existing. I know I have, certainly in the past. Yeah, a little bit of an unfortunate turn of events here. As that tiny Lobelia returns to hand, now boosted once again for speed. Shelby doesn't have a bunch of cards in hand, but it is Rachel, so who knows? Looks like a range 3 defend coming out here from Reese. Maybe threatening like a clapback assault type deal. Shelby will just, Shelby finds himself extremely low on cards, will prep, and now here comes the exceed action from Matt. Okay, we were hoping for this a couple turns ago, but yeah, I guess that Baden Lily was a threat that we didn't call out until it was too late, and I guess neither did Mad. But Reese finally exceeded, although finds himself at a huge life deficit. I didn't Rachel's just been getting little cuts and nicks in on poor Reese, and Reese finds himself at a huge life deficit again at only 14 to 27. Does have the +1 speed on his side. Reese does have the assault to call out the spike, and so interesting that Rachel willing to spend the ultra to place King George there, saying, "Hey, please don't assault me, sir." So it's so interesting. It's like it's just like a don't play this card. Like basically don't play this card, and you can't because taking 3 damage there is actually pretty catastrophic. But yeah, that's perfectly countered by the boost on Nightwave. Which basically resets the situation. Mad looks like he's going for the classic defend into assault, although you don't really see it so much at range 3. Still will pretty much do the job against Shelby's +1 speed boost, especially when he's initiating as well, so you will win the speed tie against dive. Hopefully there's no EX dive coming out from Rachel, because that would be really, really bad. Going for the assault will get advantage, has the EX grasp or the focus as a follow-up. Both of those will have +2 power on it. We'll go for the second Lobelia will push +1 speed, so we'll push the assault. Assault will close 2 onto the King George. Oh no. The perfect assault call out. Because assault will pop onto the King George. Will deal 3 extra non-lethal damage. At least Matt has 1 armor, but that is so sick. Drawing the second flying Lobelia there is just so sick. The perfect answer to assault. The perfect answer to assault. Wow. That is beautiful, right? Oh, never mind. It's not a clean. Is it not a cleanup? Okay, never mind. Lame. So apparently King George is okay. Never mind. I got hyped for no reason. I apologize. So King George is not. So King George is an after ability. Man, that was gonna be so sick. Um, so yeah, the lightning rod will go underneath Reese. Obviously, can't be popped yet because that's an after ability. Reese will close 2 at the very least, so won't find himself at range 4, which is good. Doesn't really have too much of a hand to speak of, though. Although Shelby's disincentivized to strike here, I believe. Wait, actually no. Reese's passive is only on offense, so it actually doesn't matter. Rachel boosting light, Mad prepping in response, popping that EX attack. A lot of options are down. Is this EX like Spike? It is EX Spike, and Mad unfortunately wild swings the block. Will take 8 damage once that lightning rod pops. EX Spike at speed 6 on curve. Like, what are you gonna do? Mad finds himself at only 4 HP to Shelby's 27, and this comeback is looking like Mad has no gauge. Obviously, Reese can, in theory, stage a bunch of comebacks with advantage chaining into that +2 power, being able to pop slows. Mad does have EX Grasp in hand as well, but he's got to take a little bit of a risk to get things started, I think, here. And I actually have no idea what's gonna happen. No, he okay, yeah, boosts essentially what is a fierce boost. Maybe he's telegraphing a little bit that he doesn't want to spend EX Grasp. But yeah, that EX Grasp will do 6 damage. The only problem is 6 damage is not enough to beat something like an electric chair. An electric chair works here because Rachel's close to the corner, so Reese cannot push Rachel far enough. So yeah, I mean, electric chair, sweep, focus all work. I believe sweeps are down, but I think one electric chair is up, one focus is up as well. No, Rachel actually boosts cross, moving across, now threatening that speed 6 option that she has, Whirlwind, I believe it's called. Yeah, it looks like she's actually threatening EX Whirlwind, funnily enough. So yeah, Reese will surely have to find a way to move in. Could also offer a reading, and does offer a reading. Reading's probably, yeah. You have to make these. You have to take these kind of risks here. This assault will do 6 damage. Reese will gain advantage, stunning the opponent. Probably will just go grasp into grasp if I had to guess. This grasp is 5 power though. But like Reese could be threatening a slow in theory. The wild swing in response, that wild swing's not going to work, but we'll have to try again. It's a 5 power grasp, so it does lose to like things like electric chair. We'll beat out that spike drop cleanly. We'll do 5 damage, and Reese will do Reese things. Get advantage again. Strike with a second grasp, surely into the checkmate. That'd be pretty sick. Oh no, it gets called out by the sweep in hand, and that is gonna do it. Shelby takes the set 2-0. Reese though as a character, I mean, we've seen two games of Reese where Mad was honestly just a couple combats away from winning. I mean, that first one he did have luck on his side, I will say. Variance was going his way, but yeah, just Shelby just immediately slaps down that second sweep, saying, "I'm not afraid of your slows. Do your worst, sir." And yeah, unfortunately, Mad going for the grasp into grasp gets called out. But other than that, looks like the video's already ended. Thank you so much for watching. Wish I had more post-game thoughts to say, but I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.